Hello, this is How To Bob, and it's that time once again, time to change the oil in the motorcycle. So we're going to start out by taking out the filler cap. It's on the right hand side of the bike. And we'll go around to the other side of the bike, and underneath the hose that runs along the bottom of the bike, you'll see the drain plug there. And that's what we're going to be removing. Put the drain pan under it. And then we'll get our 17 millimeter socket, and we'll go ahead and loosen that up. And while the oil's draining out, I find this a good time to take a look at the drain plug and inspect it for any imperfections, cross threadings, metal shavings, anything like that. And this one looks in good shape. And the oil's about drained out now, so we can go ahead and put our drain plug back on. First, you want to start out by putting it on hand tight, just to make sure that you don't cross thread it in any way. Once we got it on there hand tight, we can go ahead and use our 17 millimeter socket and get it the rest of the way tight. Now, if you're using a torque wrench, the manual recommends tightening the oil drain plug to 22 foot-pounds of torque. Well, we've got the drain plug back in place. We're going to go ahead and remove the oil filter. It's slightly back from the oil drain plug into the rear of the bike. And for this one, I found it easier just to use a large set of channel locks. You can use an oil filter wrench if you have one that's small enough, a strap wrench, or whatever you find that's easiest. I've always found that a large pair of channel locks works just great. And once we get it loose, we want to move the drain pan underneath because there's going to be some additional oil coming out from around the oil filter. So I'll loosen it a little bit, wait for some of the oil to drain, and then I'll loosen it a little bit more just to let some of the oil out. Kind of keeps from making a mess all over your driveway. And then we can go ahead and take it all the way off and dump it into the oil drain pan. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up the new oil filter, take the wrapping off of it, and the very first thing I want to do is get some new clean oil. Just dab a little bit right there on my finger, and what I'm going to do with that is work it around the O-ring on the oil filter. That just creates a good seal, and it also helps me be able to remove it the next time I go to change the oil. Okay, before I put the new oil filter on, I like to go through with a rag and wipe off the area, make sure there's no debris, no leftover O-ring from the previous filter, just to make sure there's no problems and that I get a good seal on my oil filter. And then you want to go ahead and put the oil filter on, just screw it on by hand. In this case, the manual is calling for 88 inch-pounds of torque, but I'm going to go ahead and snug it up as tight as I can by hand, and that should do fine. Now it's time to add the oil. This particular model year of Honda calls for 3.3 quarts of 10W40 motor oil. Okay, once we get all of our oil put in, we'll want to check it using the dipstick just behind the filler tube and at the bottom. So we go ahead and unscrew that all the way out, wipe it clean, stick it back in, and we want to screw it all the way in, and then when we pull it out, it should be between the two marks. and that looks good. So we're going to go ahead and tighten that up, put the filler cap back on, and we are done changing the oil. This is How To Bob. Thanks for watching.